to your grace. Great to see you again or be with you in spirit wherever you are, most likely in your homes as I am in this lovely morning. I just want to say bless you. Before anything else, bless you. You know, Jesus came to give life and life in abundance. And I just want to bless you with the abundant life of Jesus Christ over every area, aspect of your being. Your mental state of being, your emotional state of being, your wealth, your emotional, your relationships with people, your families. I want to bless you with God's abundant life, that you would walk into more of the abundant life that Jesus has for you, that he is stirring inside of you. I just speak fire, breathe fire on that, and just the passion and the fervor of the Lord be upon you as you're listening, as you're tuning in. This week for me is really, it's been a really great time of just understanding where people are at as they're emerging from. Hopefully we can reduce it back down to level 2 shortly, hopefully, if all things go well. But it's interesting to see some of the tradies that I've met on different property sites. Some will actually walk straight up to me and say, "Jason, how you going?" Give me a big handshake. And some will be wearing the mask and saying, you know, "Hey, no, you need to stay 2 meters. You need to stay 2 meters away." It's interesting, just different people's perspective. And I want to ask you this morning, what is going to be the new norm for you? We're all talking about the new norm, the new normal, the new way of living. And it's interesting why people say the new norm is because they understand that perhaps things were lacking in the previous season. Whether it's your values, how much time you spent with family, if you had time for your parents, if you had time for one another with your spouse, was work taking over too much? Can you function differently in your work environment? How is your mental state of being as well coming out of the lockdown? I think we're all kind of reassessing, and it's been a great time of reflection. I also want to ask you, what does it look like as we emerge from this place of rest? Emerging from a place of rest. You know, in Psalm 23, it says that he makes us lie down in green pastures. It's almost like God forces us to lie down in these green pastures. You think of green pastures, the greenery, you think of the abundance of that particular scenery. You know, that's where God wants you to be. That's his heart, that's his desire for you. I don't know if you've felt that over these last few weeks, but just there are times when I'm just really intentionally with the Lord, and I'm thinking, this is what it can look like. This is what it is going to look like. And I think for us, we just need to really, it needs to be our choice. It's great that his desire is for us to be in green pastures, but it should be our choice as well that, God, I want to remain in greener pastures. And can I just propose to you that as he leads us, as he is the good shepherd and he leads us into these green pastures, I want to propose that he is the greener pastures. He is the better way of living. He is the higher way of living. And that's his desire for us to live inside the greener pastures, which I believe is God. It's interesting that God is always at work, yet he created the world in 6 days, including man as well. On the 7th day, he rested. Now, God is always at work. It wasn't that God gets tired and that he needs to lie down. But see, the point where we're most creative is when we're in rest. Think about it. When you're not in rest, you're worrying about the kids, you're worrying about what you still have to do at work, you're worrying about the groceries, you're worrying about, okay, the house needs this to get done. And you're worrying about all these things actually filling your mind, and it's actually causing you to be in a place of unrest. And how many of us are all the time constantly aware of Jesus? I myself struggle with that, to always be fully aware of God every time, every moment of the day. As we approach into this new season, what is your new norm going to look like? We've talked about a work-life balance, having a work and life balance. I want to propose to you that what does it look like working from a place of rest. That sounds so contradictory, doesn't it? Working from a place of rest. But what I mean by that is that you would learn to live in greener pastures. You would learn to live in the abundant life that God has called you to. And not only do you live in that place, but you actually live from that place. So whether I'm at work, whether I'm with my family, whether I'm tucking the kids in at night, whether I'm trying to calm them down, they're yelling and screaming, whether there are family issues and dramas going on, whether there are voices telling us negative things and we're being affected by that, can we actually choose to live from that place of greener pastures? And I'm going to work because I'm aware of God. I'm actually going to do my work while I'm just so aware of God. I'm going to work from a place of rest. So I know as we come out of this, hopefully come out of this lockdown level 3 quite soon, sooner rather than later. Maybe it's a good time, if you haven't already, just to reflect and ask yourself the question, what does my new norm look like? And if I'm not already living in the greenest pastures I could think of, imagine, then I believe it's about coming back to God and saying, God, some things need to change. I want to live in the greener pastures. I want to live from a place of rest. God, help me, equip me for that journey to be on. I bless you guys again with the abundant life of Jesus Christ inside of you, and that we would all together walk forward and learn to live from greener pastures, live from God. Bless you guys. Have an amazing week ahead.